Yes. Okay, it's 9 a.m. I'll call the meeting to order with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the March 17th, 2025 Welsh County Commissioner meeting. Just a reminder, we are on YouTube Live, so if you just get my attention so we can keep order to the meeting and speak at one time. All right, I will call for any additions to the agenda. Danny.
Extension office test spot.
Okay, Amy,
Nothing.
Ernie,
Nope, nothing.
Paul,
No.
Christie. No. Okay, and myself, nothing. Wow. That's good. Okay, everyone was provided with a copy of the March 3rd, 2025 regular meeting minutes and the monthly bills. Did everyone have time to review them? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So move.
Second. Okay, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carried. All right, we'll move on to employee time. I think Joel Hilden, come on up. Morning, Joel.
Good morning, everybody. So on Thursday night, we had a meeting for the bike path. My brain doesn't always come in together, and we were talking a little bit about going the bike path going west of town. Planted trees, and you guys own, I think, not you guys, but the county owns some land on the south side of the road. And I believe it's from the Good Samaritan Center west, and that's actually 5 little plots in between. I think it's 6 rows of trees. I think that's the number. The first set, you guys rent out, if you will, to NDSU for their plots. And then from there on, it goes. The bike path only goes to distance minus 1.5 of those sets of trees. So I was just wondering if it, I'm sorry, 1.5, yeah, 1.5 sets of trees. I mean, we were wondering if we could plant trees on the south side of the bike path. I believe the highway right of way owns 2 feet to the south of the bike path. That's my guess. I don't actually know that, but, and then you guys would own the land to the south of that, all along the bike path. And so we were just wondering if it'd be okay with you if we planted trees in that area. It is grassed right now. It's not being farmed. The good news about planting on the south side is that most winds are northwest, and so they don't really have to worry about spray a lot. That's in my benefit of planting the trees on the east side of town. Most winds are northwest winds, not all of them, but you know what I mean. So
I talked to Danny Cole, he's the one that's currently farming that stuff. And my concern was access for him to get into those fields.
absolutely, and
he said right now he's got to drive over the bike path on part of it to access it.
I would think so.
And that's, he didn't want to have to deal with those trees. And I could see that when I drove by and look at it, was how do you access those fields? And that'll come into the extension office, the test plots are getting moved out to Pankey Farms.
Well, they're getting moved.
So that little corner there, and Joel had talked to me about possibly using that soils conservation as a test plot for their practices.
So this is kind of a joint thing. The Soil Conservation District in the future, and we're not asking for an answer today at all, just for you guys to think about, to allow us to have like a 20-acre or whatever test plot that would be used for indefinitely, I mean, like for a long time, with the options, and and this would need to happen, is that it would either be successful or unsuccessful, because we need to learn what works and what doesn't work for farmers. So just an idea. And by the way, I am not the person to bring that message. Josh and Brandon will one day bring that message to you to ask about it with a lot more information.
The test box, you mean?
Yeah, the test plot. I'm just here really just to ask for the trees, but to bring up the test plot, because I did talk to Danny about it, and that's what's on.
So Joel, have you talked to Denny Cole about
I have not,
access?
and because at first I knew who was the renter there.
Okay.
I didn't know that
And
until this
you
minute.
talked to him?
Yeah.
Okay, so the whole, it'd be nice if we had a map to look at, so
Yeah.
I'm trying to visualize everything, but are we talking the whole strip that Denny doesn't want any trees along that southern border?
Pretty much. I mean, when you look at how small those fields are,
They are very small.
very small.
Okay.
They're about 15 acres apiece, I'm guessing.
Mhm.
I'm just guessing.
We're lucky to have him come in and, who wants small farm pieces like that with big equipment?
Yeah.
And you know, we were very careful with the contract with them last time, because not a lot of guys signed up to rent it.
Yeah.
So my trees, if we did trees, just so you know, would be 40 feet apart. To start with, they're not 6 feet apart like most shelter belts. They'd be 40 feet apart, and we could absolutely drop one of those trees, making it 80 feet. Anytime for him to be able to move in and out. That's,
Yeah,
just so you know, the different kind of shelter belt. This isn't a shelter belt, it's a single row of trees. Nothing more, nothing less. But it'd be 40 feet apart. The reason for 40 feet, by the way, is not, we're not trying to present a shelter belt, we're trying to present an arboretum. So the arboretum idea is to let everybody see what that tree can do in that 40 feet. That makes sense. And by the way, I'm not necessarily asking for you guys to give me an answer today. I just want to bring it up to you. This is a kind of a future thing for us, and we're just. I don't know that I'll be the one planting the trees, maybe I will, but. I got a lot to deal with on the other side of town, so it's
Jason, you got something?
Yeah, just so everyone knows, that's right away, I couldn't even tell you what that is. That was highway or DOT right away, so they'd have to check with Jesse Cattermas that.
absolutely, we already know that, we just need to come to you to ask for the land that you would own. And we're talking probably 5 to 6 feet in to your property. And it's already grassed, probably 30 feet.
So what? I love your trees that you planted along the walking path, the bike path there. It's just phenomenal. Walked it many times. I guess what I'd like to see is if you and maybe Denny could meet with Denny Cole out there and just see if there was anything that would work. Because we can't cut off access for Denny. We just can't. That has to be first and foremost. But if you're talking putting these trees far enough apart where he'd possibly have access in between, maybe we could come to an agreement. If we can't, I think Denny comes, I hate to say it, but Denny comes first with getting access to the land to farm that land back there. But if we could plant some trees far enough apart, great.
And Denny Cole isn't presently farming that extension plot area.
So maybe there's some
So
areas.
maybe, well, what I meant is maybe you guys could consider the soil conservation as being able to use that as plot.
that's the smallest plot.
That is a small plot. It is maybe 10 acres, or I don't know if it's even 10, to be honest. Probably
I think we-
7.
I'd like to just table it at this meeting and get the maps. and,
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I didn't come for an answer today.
Mhm.
I came to bring it up
Yeah.
so that you could think about it.
Great, well, thank you very much for
Appreciate
bringing that
your
forward.
time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. 9:10, Ron, good morning.
Good morning.
So just a little update where we are with the jail project. Tonight's our first community meeting here in Grafton. Down at the farmer's room, and that starts at 5:30 with the jail tour to follow. We've been working hard with the Samuels group on getting that presentation ready. And Sid will be here in person today, so got some ads on the radio station, and I think we're advertising in our local papers, so we're moving ahead with what we need to. The first meeting is tonight with March 20th is a jail tour from 4:30 to 5:30, and the 22nd of March another jail tour from 9:30 to 10:30. So.
Great. And
Madam Chair, do you have an estimate about how long, I mean, I understand that there are questions and such, but the presentation will last?
About 30 to 40 minutes. We're gonna try and keep it as brief as we can so we can get to the questions, because I know people are excited to ask some questions, so. Right, we're hoping to be in that 30 to 40 minutes.
Ron, I know one question I've had, well, actually several times I've been asked now, well, the jail tour, you mean I'm gonna get to tour the actual jail that
Yes,
you're using? And I said, yes. And
absolutely.
several people have said they're very interested in doing that, so maybe be prepared.
Yeah, it will follow immediately the meeting downstairs, and
Tonight, yeah.
if anybody cannot make it, there's a number on the sheriff's office number, have them call, and I will set up
Mhm.
a tour as soon as we can, but following every one of the meetings, we have a plan to have them come and tour the jail, so
Mhm.
yes, I know that is a very important thing to get people to look at the jail, and we are prepared for jail tours moving forward, so
The ball is rolling.
it is, yes.
Good, well, I
Rapidly.
think that I would just like to encourage anybody that's watching online to go look at the website, the walshcountyvote.com website. I think Samuel's group did a fantastic job with explaining our needs on there. You know, and to attend the public meetings.
Yeah, there's the two sites, the Walsh County Vote .com, and then the Walsh County Vote Facebook page also.
Facebook page.
There's some good stuff on frequently asked questions and some other stuff that they've been putting on there, so
Yes,
it works very well together. We have linked on our county website on the homepage, so they can access that through there also, so there's various ways to encourage people to take a look at it. There's a lot of good information there,
Mhm.
and might prepare them for some of the questions for tonight, so
exactly. Lots of places to get informed.
there really is, yes.
Good. All right.
Anybody have any questions for me?
Wow, that's a first.
Wow, thanks.
Thank you so much, Ron. Good luck tonight. We'll see you there.
For you?
Hey, good morning, Jason.
Just a few items for you. I dropped off this morning earlier packet with just a couple of extras that didn't get in time to make the original packets. First thing I want to start off with is just a quick update. We had last week we had the township meeting for the new meeting, 24 of the 36 townships showed up. So that's the largest attendance we've had township wise since I've been here. At that, I let them know that the state has 4,824 major bridges. We own 209 of them. Those 200, that's 4%. Statewide, there's 445 on the poor list. We have 51 for 8.72%. 86 posted bridges of the state, 713. And there's 10 bridges closed across the entire state, 110. We have 9 of those. This year, we're gonna have 110 of our 209 bridges inspected. They will start next month, provided that the weather is cooperating for them. So, that'll be coming. Also over the past 2 years, DOT has been seeing an average increase in bridge and road construction costs of 75%. So, and that was before tariffs, so we'll see what happens this next round. The good news is they are actually seeing more contractors bidding projects. And that's because the ARPA funds have been spent out. The House Bill 1505 bills have been spent out, and everyone spent off all their legacy funds. Now they're getting ready to spend it again. So that's kind of what we're sitting. Hopefully the state DOT will be able to ramp up some other things. We're not waiting so long in between some of our projects. I know they got hit pretty hard on that stuff before. The flex fund projects could come out as early as July to put out projects out for that again, but it'll end up on legislature and see what all we get from that. So that's a pending thing.
Flex fund,
Yes,
are you going to work with the commission at all on what will be put in for flex fund requests?
yeah, we can, for sure, yeah.
Will we be seeing that soon? Because it was my understanding the flex fund applications may open up soon.
Like June or July.
Oh, I thought it was a little sooner than that.
No, they don't think they'll open until June or July for my
Okay.
conversations, but yeah.
Okay,
We'll work on this list.
okay, great. Thank you. One other question I had in your
Yeah.
presentation before I forget, my memory short. You said 110 of our bridges will be inspected this year?
Yeah,
Isn't the cost per bridge inspection right around $2,000? 1,500 to 2,000?
it can get, it's ranges anywhere from $737 to $3,000, depending on what they're doing.
Okay, so I used an average of 2,000, so be prepared. $220,000 will be coming out of our budget for bridge inspections that are mandated by the state. Who says the counties are overspending and they wanna cap us?
Yes. Yeah.
There's just another,
I know.
it's a quarter of $1,000,000.
Yeah, before our budget ever starts.
And it wasn't long ago, we didn't have to pay anything.
And we didn't pay that.
Yeah.
$250,000 transfers from us to the state.
Who's got all the money to begin with?
Who's got all the money to begin with? So anyways,
Yeah,
just made me think of that.
yeah, it's not a fun situation to have that money, know that that's coming out of your budget before you ever start, so. Next year, you know, that's why we're trying to change as many to culverts and get rid of them as we can. The box culverts, they only have to be inspected every 4 years. So we're still not getting rid of the inspections, but
Cutting down on.
we can cut down on them, the more we can cut down, the better.
Mhm.
So, and they still, whether it's a box culvert or a bridge, the cost really isn't that much difference between them, honestly, and a lot of them, so.
Mhm.
Depending on what they're looking at and how much they're doing.
I'm assuming they're not gonna tell us anything we don't already know with these bridge inspections.
Yeah. I'm hoping that they don't tell us anything they don't do right now.
Yeah.
Ernie?
So a bridge is a little different when you inspect it. You can go underneath, look up and look at everything.
Yeah.
How the heck did they do a box culvert? They crawl inside?
Yeah,
Okay.
and there's the actual crawl underneath the bridges too.
But they don't know of anything that's happening on the outside of it.
Right, yeah, and so they only see what they can see with their eyes, there's nothing behind the dirt or anything that they can.
Still charge.
They'll tell us if there's a void where there's material falling out, if there's a separation that way. They'll tell us if we have concrete spalling, so on those different things, if there's a chip or a rock bar or something like that, if there's rebar exposed. If there's an erosion issue at the head walls on the sides, they'll give us all those things. But it's a little less detailed than the bridges on that aspect.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
what's going on with the aluminum box culverts? Did that get resolved?
Ours are resolved right now. Haven't heard anything about Pembina County with the issues that they had with theirs. As far as I know, they're still moving forward, putting them back in, but I haven't heard.
Ours was a compaction issue?
Ours was a compaction issues and along the edges, there was a spot where they didn't have enough fabric to block the seam that was through there. So I argued with the contact, the supplier, and they blamed the contractors. It was the first ones the contractors ever done, so we went rounds and rounds. Contractors have stood by it, they're giving us an extra year warranty. They gave us an extra year warranty, so at any time we've had an issue, they've come off, they've addressed it, they've fixed it. On the north side of the one, on number 8, we had a soft spot that was on the north side. They came up and dug that out last fall and found a clay slug that we missed or something when it came out of a gravel truck. We're not exactly sure what happened, but they removed that, packed it back down, and it's been holding fine. So
Oh,
Can I ask a question about the annual report?
I didn't bring mine with me. We're gonna talk about that later. I just can't do it, but yeah.
Just a very general question. These flood funds that you have in here from various years, they're negative. Are we waiting some reimbursement on those, or is this just information?
Just mainly information. Some are waiting, some are just, that's what we're out.
Oh, back to 19, is it? Yeah.
Madam Chair, I know that we feel it more than other counties, but from the DOT meetings I've been to, when we sat down with them, you can see it on their faces that we're not the only county that deal with these inspections and costs. Anything happening in legislature, from that perspective, I mean, we should co-sponsor a bill.
yes,
For 2 years, I mean, just from that premise, right? $250,000 that we're having to find in our own general fund to pay for bridges, you know, and then especially when it goes to that, the state.
There's nothing more coming on that. It's an 80-20 split.
That's what they're doing.
And they asked, the other part of it is we have those new scour regulations that the state's been behind on. So every time there is a flood warning, we have bridges that I have to go and inspect on a daily basis. To go and monitor them for scours, for washouts, for erosion issues around them. I have to fill a report on it daily. And then after that, certain bridges have to be inspected by the bridge inspectors. That are contracted out for DOT within a month. So
you can't get to them on a daily basis in a flood.
some.
How do they expect you to do this?
We're just going to put on that, just gonna write on their form that it's underwater, can't access, and that's where we're at.
You're not gonna get scuba gear?
No. I don't get paid enough for that, so.
How many bridges alone are affected on the Park River when it's under?
We have 18 of them that are on the scour immediate watch list, where they have to be out there, and they're from across the county. And if we're in a flood event, the guys are gonna be responding to the flood and doing other things, they're not gonna be doing the inspections. If we have a time where they can, I'll leave on the guys to do some more, so I don't have to, but that'll be something we have to do. There's others that have to be inspected within their next annual, so we don't know the aspect of how many of these the 110 are the ones we know we're gonna have. If we have 3 flood events spread out through the year, we have a warnings from the National Weather Service for a flood, we'll get up with 3 extras on top of it. So this is just a baseline of what we have.
And pictures that you're included in that.
Yep. So that's the fun with the bridges and most things. Yes, it kind of is what it is at this point. There's not much we can really do about it. It's just a lot of those scour regulations are pushed on the DOT by the federal. And DOT here is waiting on doing projects because they're waiting for funding to come from Bismarck or from DC, and they just had their continuing resolution, so hopefully nothing gets pushed backwards on that stuff, but there's nothing set in stone on those yet either, so I'm hoping our projects that we have that are bidding out in April with DOT are still on that register and ready to go for it. We haven't been told that they've been pushed back, but everyone's waiting for that continuing resolution funding from DC, so. Be better if they just fund it and move on, but.
And that Hagen Bridge was one of them on there, or what, that we're waiting on funding for DC?
Which one?
Or wasn't it the Hagen Bridge by Fort Hill?
Yes.
Because now it's another 2 years, did you say at the township meeting before it's going to get done?
Yeah, we're still waiting on the bids for that one, so hopefully it'll be bid out in April. But in all honesty, it probably won't be completed until 27 or 26, we don't know, so. It'll depend on things, so it's been closed for 4 years already. It's one of the first bridges I've had to close when I started, so. It's a long process, and the one that washed out in the last flood 2 years ago, we're still working on FEMA to get that one brought back.
So the reason that one is stalled and we're able to go ahead with other bridges is because of where the funding is coming from? I just want so that the public understands, so I can explain that to the public when I'm questioned, since I live in that area,
Right, it's because of the funding and where it's coming from.
the funding pool.
That's,
Okay.
yeah, that's where it was on the list of, on how DOT, when they accepted our projects that we put in a couple of years ago, that they determined which ones were first. So when they're paying for the whole thing, I'm fine with that portion of it too. So we know we have it funded. Now we just play the waiting game. It's been very frustrating for us and for KLJ because we're sitting here waiting. And so,
Right.
and we can imagine how it is for.
The farmers. No, Denny,
That bridge is under 20 feet, right?
No,
Oh, it is over, okay.
Ernie?
But it's over a legal variance.
It'd be interesting, sort of keep track what the original bid is, and then what's gonna happen 4 years later or whenever this thing accepted to see the increase. That'd be a good bridge to sort of look at and say, look what you are costing us with these delays.
Well, that's fully,
But I know it is, but it's still, it's sort of in relation to all our bridges, how much they've gone up in 4 years, and every time we delay or get. Cause of a bird or whatever funding from the state, look what happens to the cost. You just said 75%. Keep track of that one. I wanna know exactly when that thing finally gets accepted, what the difference is between the original bid and when it's finalized. Am I not here?
and what, well, let's hope you're, what kind of bridge is going in there again? Is it a box culvert
no,
or?
that one will be a box culvert. It's too deep.
Okay.
So that'll actually be a bridge.
Good old bridge.
Okay,
The next one I have is just an update for, the Nash Bridge number 9, that's west of Nash, that, 5-ton bridge. Elias Markison is willing to go in and do a Band-Aid patch for it. I mean, that's all it will be, because what we'll be able to do is, he's willing to give us a price of $49,700.
how much?
$49,700. And with that, he's gonna go in there, jack up the bridge and replace the crushed timber that's on the east side. That's our problem. With that, everyone's been continuing to drive over top of it. So the pilings, no matter what, when the bridge inspection is done, that bridge is gonna have to be replaced. We're already working with KLJ on replacing it with box culverts. And we have the sizing almost done. But if we were to go ahead and do this project, it at least would make the bridge where the farmers could use it until we close it to rip it up, replace it.
Well, how many ton would it be?
It'd be 22 ton.
With, okay, with repair,
With repair.
22 ton. It's 5 now,
It's 5 now.
which they said you can't even take an ambulance over.
Right. Correct.
We're borrowing time is what we're doing, and I asked him, I said, once we put the cap or do whatever, if we take it off when it comes to replace it, we can use that somewhere else, so we're not. And I told him, I said, well, we gotta do something for the farmers, we just can't keep it at 5 tons, so I said, bring it here and talk to you guys about it.
How long is it until you rebuild and close it?
Well, we're working on getting things through right now for the design. We're hoping that we might be able to get it bid out here in March, end of March or in April. But we still have 404 permits that we're waiting for on top of that, and then to actually get the box culverts. To actually get the box culverts, we might not be able to get those until August, July or August. Depends on when we get it ordered in. 2 weeks ago, for the size of box culverts we were looking at, from the 2 suppliers I spoke with, they thought we might be able to get them in July or August. But that was a couple weeks ago, so I don't know if they're still in the same spot. The other thing I found out is that the contractors for these really large box culverts that we have, they have 4 or 5 different plants, but they can transfer their big forms from one place to the other. So the homes could be in Minokan this week and in Billings next week. So you have to wait for that form to come back to Minokan so that you can build them. Or else you pay the extra shipping to bring them from Billings instead of Minokan. So that is part of the fund supply, even we have to play. The people Minokan plant also said that they get most of their supplies from Canada, so they're not sure what their pieces will be for cost because of tariffs.
How long will it be closed when you tear it down?
When we tear it down to replace it, it'll be about 3 months.
Is that an in-house thing or is that a
Trying
contract?
to be contracted. It's too big for them, too big for our crews. The sizing puts it similar to what we just had installed on number 9 by Cashion. 14 by 14 or 12 by 16, I think were the numbers we were looking at.
Denny?
So if everything goes according to plan, this 50,000 would buy us how much time?
By 7 months.
7 months?
If something doesn't happen and this bridge doesn't get rebuilt this fall, before fall,
Hopefully it will still get us through the winter until next year. It should. It should keep us longer, whether, we'll see what happens, but the pilings that are underneath it right now, with everyone continuing to go over the 5-ton bridge with semis and trucks, the pilings are actually tilting now. So we'll be able to do what we can to try and secure that without ripping the whole bridge up. To do these things, we're gonna get the best that we can. To try and straighten those pilings, we can snap them right off. Then in order to do that, we have to dig up behind the abutment to do that, which is more than what we're looking at doing with this $49,000 estimate.
So how much money would we be out? Because you said some of those funds would go towards parts, so to speak, that we could use elsewhere.
That'd be the 50,000, the 49,700.
Oh, that doesn't include, so we're gonna spend 50,000 for 7 months.
Or longer if we don't get the bridge approved.
Yeah, if we don't get the bridge approved, we don't get a time for the slots for it to be constructed.
So we don't know.
Could be 7 months to a year.
Ron,
I think it's $50,000 well spent. They're going over it anyway. And it is a absolute safety risk, for them to be driving over this bridge. It is on County 9, there's a lot of traffic on County 9. I know it's a hard pill to swallow, but, there's a lot of people that use that bridge.
I know, I wish we were looking on a map up there of the bridge or the area, so we could,
I don't have that, bring that, but it'd be this bridge right here.
okay, so right by Nash.
So you have the elevator Nash, you have the Hoople Farmers Green, you have the Crystal Sugar, all that stuff comes through this.
And
area.
that all kind of goes over that 9 bridge, okay, okay.
The only, this road, that is, the next gravel road is this township road, that is also heavily used, that goes to Auburn. Number 1 isn't very heavily used, it's got a ridge on it that has restrictions on it as well. Well, this side actually isn't County 1, it's on the county line. But your choices are either this or come down through Nash. Or up there, and Nash, to get pushed out into those township roads, you're sending a lot of extra traffic onto township roads that townships can't afford the maintenance on them that they have now.
So by doing this, we're gonna get our normal traffic over the bridge, we're gonna get our emergency vehicles over the bridge. What about the farm equipment?
Farm equipment. should
That'll
do-
be okay still too?
Some of it will
Loaded
be,
truck?
Yeah.
Well, empty.
It's-
Empty
yeah,
truck?
at least-
I mean, that's what I'm, yeah,
Yeah, at least the empty trucks will be able to get across them so that they can come down and load it on 8 or 6.
Well, you know what?
It's something.
You know what? Whether we do something or not, that 100,000-pound semi truck is gonna go over that bridge in either a 5-ton or a 20-ton. I hate to say it, but it's gonna happen.
Reality.
It's reality. We gotta do something for safety, and either that, we shut it down,
Right.
and I don't think we wanna do that, but it's reality, and nobody looks at signs or tonnage anymore, and. You know, we gotta do something, I think.
And we're getting a lot closer to having to do the shut it down. Because of the bump and the jarring that's on that bridge right now, and it's not getting any better.
well,
Need a motion?
I would like to have a motion for this, so I can let Elias order the parts that he needs to.
Make a motion, we do the 49,000, what, 700?
700.
second,
okay, any further discussion? Okay, I'll take roll, Denny,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Ernie,
Yes.
Paul,
yes.
myself, yes, motion carried.
Let Elias know so you can get the parts ordered, equipment ordered, he needs to. Thank you.
Like throwing money out the window.
That's a hard one, but I don't want somebody hurt either, you know, it's all about safety.
The next item I have is North Dakota DOT bridge inspection invoices. There's actually 2 of them. There's one of them that I missed, that raised me last time. It's for $22,006.65. That is for 38 bridges.
Is this part of what we gave us today?
No, that one was part of that part was part of the packet.
I just have a copy to sign, correct?
Yes. And so this one, on those 38 bridges, actually averaged out to about $580 per bridge on the inspection. So I need a motion for the signature on that one. I also have a March inspection for one bridge, and that bridge cost was $737.73.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the bridge inspections, the two of them?
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
Cut me off.
I thought it was discussion.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, I'll take roll. Paul,
Yes.
Ernie,
I'll reluctantly say yes.
Danny,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
myself, yes, motion carries.
There'll be two of those for you.
Okay, yeah, I see here.
Next one I had was just a quick update on Tommy. I got a bid package out there for looking for a contractor for mowing on me. We also stopped and talked with North Dakota Parks and Recreation while I was out in Bismarck about the federal grants that we've received over the past. If, not saying that we would, but if we ever were to close the park and close everything completely, we would not have to worry about having to pay back anything there for those federal grants, because it's Army Corps of Engineer land, and Army Corps of Engineers isn't gonna take it out from recreational aspects. So there's the good news for that portion. We'll see what kind of bids we get for it. I talked to them about what they have for campground hosts, that they use. And they've done some research through, workcamper.com and got some information and been talking with Tanya on that. What the recommendations are for those things is to not overvalue your sites. So if you're charging $600 for your site for a month, they recommend getting that much value back from your work campers. So, and they pay a minimum wage at that. So if you're gonna pay them a minimum wage at that aspect, you get us about 20 hours a week of work out of your work camper to do the cleaning of the bathrooms, emptying the fire pits, which when times we're not busy, it wouldn't be a problem at all, it shouldn't take too long. They'll also have to take care of and inspect the playgrounds on a daily basis and the beach, and then picking up all the garbage that's out there. I was out there last week with a prospective contractor to take a look at it. And there's a significant amount of trash that's out there right now. It's been going around and out over the winter. That needs to be cleaned up. There's a bunch of trees that are down too, so the guys will have to go out there and get those removed. With tree branches and different things on the aspect and just full tree. So we'll have that aspects coming. But working with Tanya and trying to get a description of what we're looking for, job duties and talking to different things. She's been speaking with some people in Morton County on it as well. So that's just a quick update for where we're at.
So where is the mowing bid? Is it in the papers?
It's in the papers.
Oh, I guess I missed it.
Yeah.
There was one in there.
I got it completed and submitted Friday, so we might not have made it this one, but it's in the papers coming, so.
Oh, yeah, if you just send it in Friday, it wouldn't be coming until this week. Okay, so Grafton Record,
It'll be in the Grafton Record, yeah.
do we wanna get it in the press as well? Since it's on me and it's the part of the press,
I can, by legal, we only have to put it in the county paper
yeah.
to keep costs down, so
It's on Facebook and
it will be on Facebook, too.
I don't know, but it impressed me. You might get somebody out west that's closer there, that's gonna mow or something, you know?
Yeah, I just feel because of the location,
Yep,
you know, probably should go in there.
It's,
Would you be able to get the Camp Post one in the paper within the next week, do you think?
I don't know, we're pushing, we're trying, I'm hoping to, so.
The other thing I was thinking is, would it be possible that maybe some 4-H groups or something would be interested in cleaning up trash? I mean, like, we have a 4-H group that comes in and takes care of the trash down at Manachek.
we had them 1 year take care of the gardens and stuff, and then the next year, they sort of lost interest.
I mean,
That's
that's,
quite a few years, but it's worth a try. you know?
right, I mean, it's just a little easier for kids to come and, you know, tell them, pick up trash, that's pretty easy, right? Garden, that's a little different.
Yeah.
But it's just a thought.
Or even at the schools for Earth Day, I mean, a lot of schools, I mean, even even elementary, you know what I mean? They go out and do a field trip out at
Well,
Tommy.
it's a day, it's a day out,
Right,
instead-
yeah,
you know.
it's a day out instead of in the classroom.
Right, exactly. I mean, I know they do that.
Community service stuff like this.
Manager, I know the senior classes do that around here, I would assume, you know, they give them a day out, half day out, and they go around and clean trash. In that area, there might be.
Maybe we could contact the Park River School since that's in their community and, or even Grafton. It's just a thought, but then I wonder, is there any danger, Ron, any danger with sending a bunch of kids out to clean up trash? I mean, they do it everywhere else, right? So should be fine.
As long as they're supervised,
Yeah.
We have a pretty good connection with extension with 4-H too, I mean, Katie or Bailey
Oh.
or whoever would. Probably be able to help.
That'd be great. Just want to
Give an
reach
answer.
out to Katie
Yeah,
and
exactly.
the school. Okay.
Anything else on Omni?
Was Susan willing to get the trailer off timely then?
She's working on it, she's getting prices, so far prices are varying from $5,000 to $10,000. So she's working on it, she's trying to figure out how to do it, so. She understands it, she happy with it, but she knows where you're coming from on it, so she's actually talked about possibly coming in here today, because she wanna make sure that none of us missed anything that has to be taken care of for not being there on a full-time basis. And she and I have been, our schedules haven't matched up, so I'll still be planning a meeting with her there to take care of some things as well. But she's working on removing the trailer.
Okay. Good.
Anything else on Hami?
Can't think of anything. The only thing I'm wondering is if we don't have a camp post in place, how soon would we need a camp post in place?
The open camping is Victoria Day weekend, so.
Is what?
Victoria Day weekend, the
When
weekend
is
before
that?
Memorial Day.
Okay,
So we'd have to do it at that aspect, and for that one, I'll have to spend some time out there. Turning the water on and doing the initial startups of all the bathrooms and everything, the water lines and all that stuff, so. It'll be a couple of days where I'll have to be out there for that. Because we won't have anybody on early enough to get it ready for camping, so that'll have to be on me to go get that or find somebody to do it.
well, I mean, to me, if we don't have a camp post, we don't open the camping. Right? Or what are you guys
Just have that
thinking?
bathroom,
We still have to have bathrooms, I agree, but do you guys think we should be opening camping without a camp post? I mean, we can't because we don't have anybody to clean the bathrooms daily. I certainly don't expect Jason to go out and do that daily. Any thoughts?
we'll have to make that decision on that soon, because we'll have people with reservations, there's actually one already that has booked a reservation for the year, because they make reservations yearly for being at a hobby. So,
I'm sure I would just suggest we try to get that in the paper ASAP then, I mean, we can't get one if we're not putting it out there and people don't
Yep.
know we need one, so.
Right,
That's
I
our
agree.
next best, and then I just would request to update every meeting on this until we're. On a new track, if you will, keeping us up to date on what's happening or what's happened between meetings.
At least in the interim, couldn't you contract somebody to clean the bathrooms rather than a camp host until you could put a camp host in place? I hate to see the campground not open.
What about maintenance from the extension office? Who's doing that, or who's doing? We have any, yeah, cleaning,
I don't know if people are gonna take that part on or not.
I mean, even if it was interim, like you said, it wouldn't be our ultimate goal, but it would get us, so we could have camping open.
We still got the playground and the beach go on top of it, so that's gonna be a little bit more of what, than what he does with the extension and cleanings. I mean, it gets you in the bathrooms, but you're still gonna have other stuff that needs to be taken care of without it. Cause right now, there's a pretty good erosion spot at the beach.
Any chance that the person that is already signed up for long-term camping, or not long-term camping, but signed up for camping from last year would be interested in being a camp
We're
host?
still reaching out to him, so
Okay,
for last year's campground host to see if he's still interested in doing that. That'll at least give us the weekends.
oh, that's the one from last year?
Yeah, campground host from last year. See if he come back out to do that stuff, so. But
Is that the route we want to go?
I don't know which route we want to go at this point. Right now I need bodies. So if that's the only body I got, that's what I have.
Well, I think we need to advertise and see if we can get some other interest. Ron?
I think we need to upgrade the camera system out there too, then.
Yes,
We need to get some better coverage on our, especially around the bathroom areas and some of the other areas. Upgrade, our security system out there.
Yeah, and I have a request in the Polar for that already.
we do. Okay, good. Perfect. Good reminder.
Bids?
Well, the price to see what it was gonna cost, not so much bid, they have our package and our instrument for everything for it, so. They're one of the only ones around here that I know that do it, is tied to their system already, that we get from them, so they'll have to put an extension in. We'll have to- We talked about last year's for probably not to bore a line in, trench a line in. To get us over to that area, because the line of sight doesn't work with the trees. And then put in another line of sight camera for it from there, so it's not a quick simple one, but I'm working on it with them to get that taken care of.
Okay, good. I think, any other questions on Holly?
It just, we may have to be okay with this year being a little bit of a piecemeal when you talk about bodies, if it's the beach and picking up, can we get a commitment from 4-H, the school, maybe in May at the end or Earth Day, and then maybe 4-H, and for picking up trash, and if the maintenance will do the bathrooms in term, I mean, I think we may not have a perfect setup for at least this year, but I'm okay with that as long as we're getting the right pieces put into place for it.
Right, moving forward. So one benefit to a camp host too would be that, then that is long-term camping, right? They don't have to move, where the other ones have to jump through some hoops, but. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, good. All right, let's move on to snowfall pictures.
Was speaking with, John Stencil with Mac, RDO Mac, and they are 1 year out in order to get a snowplow. The chassis on the truck is bad, but it's all the snowplow equipment. Right now, Bird's Equipment has 222 or 122 snowplows on their list of items to do that they know of. So they're like a year out for that part.
No, you're talking a V plow?
Yeah, a one-way plow for on top of the truck with a wing. But a rock box, not another standing truck. We already have 2 standing trucks on it and then 2 others. So we have 4 salt centers right now. So we're not gonna do that. We'll put a rock box on it. With that rock box and the snow equipment, the Mack chassis itself is $141,489. And the snow equipment is $143,793. That's the prices right now, so it's total at $285,282. But like I said, that's the prices now. I don't know where their trucks come from, where their steel comes from, so what we're looking at with tariff increases. So I would like to order these as soon as possible, get permissions to order a truck or 2. I have enough money that I found inside the Legacy Highway Distribution Fund that we received 2 years ago, we hadn't spent yet. Where I can use that money and the money we have, that would cover for 1 full truck. We might not even have to make all the payments this year, still in the purchase of, working on that aspect of it all, as what would have to be paid this year and what could be paid next year on it. The other thing is that I think I could have found enough money between what would be left in our new equipment budget, and the Legacy Highway Distribution Fund. I think I have enough money found where if we were to move forward, I could actually swing purchasing to, if I had to make the check for everything this year. But being that we're looking at, if we order them today, not having them until 2026 at the end of the season. I'd like to try and get a motion to do 1 or 2. What we do is we replace a single axle truck that doesn't have a wing. And we replace one of our Max that, we've done the box on it, but it has a twisted frame. And that one will get a wing as well. So with the wings, we were actually, right now, we don't have any wing trucks in Park River. They're all.
Paul,
Can you give me a breakdown again between the truck and the plow?
Yeah, the truck is 141,489. And the plow, the box of the plow and the wing are 143,793.
And what years are the trucks you're trading in or getting rid of?
One is 25 years old and the other one is 28 years old.
Paul, Danny,
With everything going on with the legislature with this 3% cap. And where we're gonna be out with this jail deal. Do we wanna spend this money right now?
But this has no effect, that's general fund money, this is highway distribution and all that. So we can't move that money anyhow. We're in need of trucks, I brought it up to Jason, I said, start looking at this, and then it'll go in like next year, but I said, maybe we should order them, put them on next year's budget. You know, cause none of the money is gonna have to be spent till next, you know, but I says, you look, I think how many months ago you said it was 350,000, now it's down to 280. What's it gonna do with the tariffs and everything else? And that was my gist of the whole thing, I said, we know we need the trucks, we know what happens when we order used ones, we've seen that, what it costs with that transmission. And I'm not sure we wanna go one or two, but I think we gotta just start the process.
Paul,
So your highway distribution funds, is any of that money property tax money? Where is the revenue coming from?
It comes from the DOT with money from licensing and registrations and things on the highway taxes. It doesn't come from mills from here at all. All the money I've been looking at would be coming from state money for that.
What are the limitations on that money for spending it?
It's like, I can spend on the equipment for the highway department.
Just equipment?
Yeah, I can, well, and I can also spend it on the time frame for the guys and the projects for it, for highways. It can't be spent for anything that's not road and bridge. So equipment for road and bridge, salaries for road and bridge. So that's all it can be used for.
We could spend it on bridges on.
Yeah.
so here's a simple question. Could it be spent on anything that we might be limited on under our general budget?
The general fund, no.
No, it could not be spent on anything there.
Bridges.
Well, bridges, roads and
Bridges.
bridges, but that's. Those
We don't
are,
spend the general fund money on bridges anyhow, do we, or have we?
we spend some of the mills that come from it.
Well,
that
yeah,
We have for those things, yes. But. I can pay for these other, the other things we have is we have the prairie dog money that is here, so. With the budgets and the forecast for 3%. If I can swing them now and make them happen, I feel much more comfortable than coming back to you later and trying to come to you next year after 3%. When I have a truck go down where then I'm trying to ask you for $300,000 when with the 3% cap, we can only get 40,000.
I realize we've gotta keep up with this equipment,
yeah.
but it just. The stuff that's going on in the legislature, it's just scary to.
That's part of the reason why I'm bringing it to you today is because
And I encouraged him to, I said, you know what? We're in a catch-22.
Well, we need our roads cleaned, we need the snow removed, I mean,
I don't know, I would think move forward with one for now and see what happens. You know, I'd like to get to, but I said the amount of money it costs and everything else, I think cautiously just move forward with one and at least we're not spending all that money. We still, in case we got trouble on a bridge or something, we still got a kickback or something. 280,000 will do something for a bridge or a culvert or something somewhere. So,
Amy,
And I think we also have to remember, I mean, you had a truck in the shop for how long? I mean, you do have to recognize repair and maintenance on 25 and 28-year-old equipment can cost us more in the long run if we're really looking proactively at trying to get our equipment in a little bit better state, for aging. in use.
Okay, Jason, what is the lifespan of a plow truck like this? I mean, in a perfect world, I'm not asking how much can you bleed out of them, I'm asking how much can you,
There's a lot of counties that they replace them sooner than what we do. Really honestly, for what we do with our trucks, we should be able to get 20 years out of them. So to me, this is a 20-year, if I'm talking to the guys, and we're trying to put a lifespan on them. We all feel like 20 to 25 years for our trucks should be doable. You know, something unforeseen happens, but if everything goes, we feel that we could make 20 to 25 years out of our trucks. Our motor graders, those are completely different.
But, yeah,
But
I mean, motor graders gotta go regardless, but trucks, well, especially plow trucks, depends on the winter. These last 2 winters, we haven't been very hard on them, the winter before that, we were. But just,
yeah, the first 2 winters I was here, we were really hard on them.
I think we have to depend on what you and your crew say on these trucks. Cause you're the only ones that know it.
Well, one of them, we'll be looking at replacing T101 as a single axle truck. The other one is a, so right now it gets used a little bit in the summer, but not much.
You had snow blowing in the cab on one of them, wasn't it? I mean,
That's both of our Max that we have.
Yeah.
Which is one of the ones we'd be replacing is our existing Max, there's snow that blows into the cabs that are doing snoring wall. But they're 25 to 26-year-old trucks, so. So those are the ones, and we've spent some money this last winter to put the rock boxes, or put new steel in them, so that we could actually use them to haul gravel and things again, not just rocks, cause you can put your arms through.
Yeah.
Paul,
I understand it's probably not gonna make a lot of difference, but did we get a bid from anybody else? Or-
This is off the state bid in Minnesota, this is the like the lowest bid that I know that's out there, so it's off the state bid.
I think Birch is the one that's plow work too, isn't it?
Locally.
Yeah,
That's why they're 100 and some behind.
yeah.
You know, I look at this and everything else, and then just the cost of everything, it's dang if you do, dang if you don't. I guess I'll make a motion and we move forward and at least look at purchasing one. Our options and like I said, work it in the budget for when budget time is, but I think it's critical if we're gonna do it, we decide now and get on the list so we can get it in a year and a half. Who knows?
I'll second it.
okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll take roll. Paul,
Yes,
Ernie,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Jenny,
Yes.
myself, yes, motion carried.
I think that, you know, we've been very fortunate and thank God we got that computer deal for Stewart's. Cause it's unbelievable the amount of money he saved us.
We've got a good crew.
You betcha. And I said that was, you know, it was a little cost, what was it, 5,000 or 6,000 that
Yeah,
time?
5,000.
Yeah, but we've saved that double and thank God we got a guy and a crew that can fix a lot of our stuff, but to what point? Can they fix anything anymore? If you get old, can't find parts, so.
Which one are you thinking about? Since you can only do one, which truck would you?
I'm gonna talk to Stuart, and we're trying to work and figure out which one we're gonna go. It's gonna be the Mac for the snow that blows into it, or with the twisted frame, or the single axle.
Okay.
So, but
If you the other one or put it on bid, what do you?
we can put it out for bids, or we can just.
Just
Just have it back, sit around for a spare, basically sit outside and have snow blowing into it, you know, the winter being used, but. We could actually put it out for a bid, not to have it, it's. After, but it wouldn't be until after we get the other ones, so we'd have time to make that decision on whether we wanted to. Just keep it for another one or remove it.
I mean, I don't think, if it's not something we really need, I guess I don't like the idea of just keeping it out, setting it outside and paying insurance on it. If it's something we needed, yes, but it's kind of like when we trade a vehicle, we can't afford to keep the one we have, right? We have to trade it in or sell it. To me, that's just more cost conscientious.
And a couple of years ago, we had a truck that was sitting around that hadn't been moved in here, so we sold that one.
Yeah,
So, I mean, to me. It could go up for a bit, what we'll get for it, who knows, but. It wouldn't be until after we get the new one.
okay. Good,
The next thing on my list is, added in your package for today that I've dropped off for you, there's two items. One is for the flex fund in the Swanson Bridge right away. We're gonna need to purchase, few hundred feet or a few hundred square feet from Swanson Farms. For that bridge that we're looking at putting out through the flex funds. So I just made a motion to, for the, to move forward with purchasing this, their standard right of way contracts. Already met with Mark Swanson and he was open to it, so. We just didn't have any formal forms. We'll have to move their approach into their field as part of this project.
What is the price per acre based off of?
It's based off of other sales and items in the area, so they use a plastic replacement things, so they have, some sales locations that they have listed around there, for the sales price for 19 acres is 1,500 acre, and then another quarter is 8,898.
Who did this?
KLJ put this packet together.
I'm just trying to find what is it going to actually cost us?
$600, $600 is what it'll cost us for the right of way purchase.
I'll make a motion, we move forward with this agreement with Swanson's.
Do you have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a roll. Bernie,
Yes.
Jenny,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
myself, yes, motion carried.
Next item I also have from KLJ is to, engineering agreement to move forward with doing a chip and seal of the roads being paved 2 years ago with number 9 and number 12. So that we can protect that investment that we made on those. It's a $20,000 engineering contract, and then you'll be able to get everything put together and go get that bid out. We have funding in their budget lines that will cover this project.
What budget does this come out of?
Comes out of our regular general fund, chip seal, asphalt repairs. $700,000 in that budget line, that's available for us.
You mean the county general?
What all we can pay for asphalt pavements and asphalt projects is a chip seal project. Anything that becomes a mill and overlay, you pay into millions of dollars and can't be done unless for a guy.
So in the future, could this be taken out of a non-general budget fund?
Great up,
How much of the general fund goes towards this kind of thing?
I don't know, that happened to him.
it's we get the mills of 30 and 10 for capital the next year, so that'd be. But that's, again, what all goes to which pieces of it, so.
So a total of 40 mils.
Yeah, with the 10% from the capital.
But then it's not coming out of county general.
That's
The
not
60,
county general.
Then that's not
No.
county general,
No,
so
so
this
it's
is
not.
the
Yeah.
highway
Highway.
mills.
Highway mills, so none of it would be county
So
general.
none of this is coming.
There's so many funds that.
Yeah, none of it's county general.
Okay,
The
You-
only thing that I have that is county general are buildings and grounds and honey.
okay.
I would make a motion to approve the 20,000 for the chip seal maintenance.
Second,
Okay, any further discussion? I'll take roll. Denny,
Yes.
Paul,
yes.
Ernie,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
myself, yes, motion carried.
Next item I brought to you today is Friday, we had one person turn in a bid for doing a waxing on this floor. Came in at $6,600, which is the same price he's charged us for the last 4 years for doing each floor. So my recommendation is we move forward with having the Easter cleaning service for wax, stripping and waxing the first floor.
Okay. Paul,
You do a floor every year, is that?
Yes. So next year will be the third floor, and then we'll go back down to the basement. So it's on a rotation for this building.
I'll second
okay, any discussion? All right, I'll take roll. Denny,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Ernie,
Yes.
myself, yes, motion carried.
I do have a question for
Yeah.
Jason. Jason, in your annual report here, departments and organization expenses, you've got a breakdown of charges for labor, equipment, material. Does this stuff get reimbursed to you, or is this just what your costs are for doing various things
You know,
for?
it gets reimbursed to the funds. So, cause with the guys' labor, it gets reimbursed to us, cause all the guys' labor comes on the highway distribution fund.
Okay,
And usually just, Paul, you've never received one of these booklets before, which they're really nice to have.
yeah, there-
But usually when Jason gives them to us, we get to take them home and have some time to study. And then, just so you know, you don't have to go through it all day and study, and then we'll come back the next meeting with questions, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so I know, I started thinking, I bet he's stressed that we have to go through this whole book right now.
it's not a test.
Yeah,
Go through it and put little X's where you got questions and then.
yeah, and then we'll come back and discuss at the next meeting.
can't help myself.
Yeah.
You didn't even scratch your head on that one.
Well, maybe we even wanna get a previous year book. I like to
I
compare.
know it is.
Okay,
Yeah, I gave him
Okay.
mine.
yeah, it's nice to compare. Okay,
And then I wanted to also let everybody know, two things. One is that we put out in the paper for, looking to fill our, gravel farming position. That's out, that will be out there. I have one internal application already on my desk. So that's good to know. Also, the asphalt forming positions has been accepted. They'll start in the middle of next month. It will be Louis Cadillac will be joining the department, so I'm
wonderful.
looking forward to having.
Good to hear. How about the janitor position?
Still got to get the interviews done on that one, so we're working on it. My schedule is where I've been out and gone, and Nikki's been out or gone, we haven't been able to, so we get those schedules next week.
I guess I would make that top priority because those people are gonna take other jobs. They're not gonna wait forever for an interview from us.
Yep.
And they've waited a long time.
How many applications did you get?
3.
I mean, we couldn't get any applications and now we've got applications and we're not interviewing them. That concerns me, Jason, and I understand scheduling, but maybe you won't both be able to be there.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you won't be able to make that work. So pull in a commissioner or something to interview with you.
Thank you.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you.
All done?
That's all I have for you, unless you have any other questions for me.
You know what to put on the blade or the whatever out these roads now, we're getting soft and then all of a sudden now we get snow on top again.
The motor graders are only one thing touching the gravel, the trucks aren't going on the gravel, so the plow trucks are out in this morning, they're out moving, but they're only gonna be on asphalt, we're not going on to the gravel. With stuff like this morning, it caught all of us by surprise, we weren't expecting this much, but the guys were already out and moving this morning on that aspect of it, so. Hopefully the weather will warm up and melt it off and not leave us a bunch of ice, but who knows, so. You know, the grounds here were scraped twice this morning before we got here and they can be done again, so. Contractors coming back, you know, already spoke, so we can get everything cleaned off again before the 5:30 meeting tonight.
Great. Okay, we are running a little behind, but Susan, I'm assuming you were here for HAMI, you missed the discussion on HAMI, so if you have anything you would like to discuss, I would give you time. I just need to do it after Brenda, because she was supposed to be on at 9:55, my apologies, Brenda. So did you have something you'd like to discuss, or?
Yeah.
Okay, so can you just wait then till we're done with Brenda? Are all the commissioners fine with that, because that is going to extend our meeting some?
Yeah.
Okay, but
Absolutely.
is that fine? Do we want to break first, or is everyone good to go? Okay, all right, Brenda, why don't you come on up? And again, my apologies that we're running a little behind. Welcome.
Well, this is my very first county commissioners meeting. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. I'm super excited about a project that perhaps is long overdue, but it's got some really great momentum. And that is the 532 Hill Avenue project. Just want to double check with everybody. Did you get a copy of the update in your packets?
Yes.
Well, fantastic, because I have some breaking news to share with you as we progress as well. My main purpose for today really is for you to know me. I graduated from Grafton, North Dakota in 1982. My first home here was 621 Cooper Avenue, which is right over there. And I used to have to go get my mom Coke every night at the police station. And then, my second home was 142 Willow Court, and I think, there's somebody around the table that might live in that home as well. So, it's fantastic, to be a part of the Grafton community again. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Brenda Lizakowski Bauman. Yep, I'm a Pollock and Colorado. So I'm not wearing green today because I'm not, Irish.
Not to interrupt you, I have 300 stories about you in the house.
Oh boy, well, Ernie, I invite you to coffee sometime. We can swap lots of stories, I'm sure. But no, after almost 33 years with Marvin, I retired from Marvin last fall. And a couple of individuals heard about this and heard about my work that I had done in Warroad, most recently in the past 8 years, on kind of initiating a concept that was very foreign and new to people. And it was an incubator concept, about, how can you create energy in your downtown district to invite new businesses to be a part of your community and surround them with the resources that are absolutely essential. And it's been fun over the last couple of weeks just to touch base one-on-one with a few people, because I know it's kind of a crazy concept. And don't quote me on that one. But it is a concept that it needs to grow with the community. I'm grateful that Dawn invited me to be hired as a part of her Red River Regional Council team to project manage this. I have experience in working with construction projects, both a downtown renovation project, and then, a new beautiful modern art, culture and event center, and understand how the process works in partnership, in collaboration with many, because these are all, kind of community assets. So she invited me in, she hired me. I had the pleasure to meet Amy, to get to know Amy, a little bit, because again, my main goal today is just to get acquainted with all of you, because you have all been generous with your time and your commitment, and your patience, on this project. We're in a place that, as of last Friday, when I was on vacation with friends, got a notification from the EDA that they accepted the proposal to move forward with a construction manager at risk approach. And why I believe that is a great approach for this project is because there is an architect of record that we are retaining, and that is Icon Architects. We've been in contact with them. They've designed the original concept for the space. And now we're getting ready to announce that we want to solicit an RFQ for construction managers. And a construction manager will provide bids and quotes in totality and give the project what's called a guaranteed maximum price, along with the contingency amount. And they're responsible for coordinating with all of the subcontractors within that price that's quoted. And so we're excited because we've been socializing this project with this approach to a number of relationships that both Dawn and I have had in the construction industry, and they're awaiting these RFQs. So the good news is, we've got bids, because you probably read in the update that, kind of went at it a couple of different times, but this time is the right way and it's the right approach. And I believe in this project because I've seen it work, but it works because the community supports it and designs what kind of programming happens within it. What Dawn has wrote with the vision and the information that you've already seen and shared is on target, it's spot on. And it may need a little evolution and a check-in in terms of the programming, which is normal and natural, you know, after a project has, you know, been in the works for, you know, a few years, just like, is it right? Yeah, you know, do we need to tweak it? Maybe just a little bit. And then who do we need to invite in that process? You know, who are gonna be the users and how's that gonna move forward? But I was just really delighted that, you know, we got the green light, from the EDA, you know, Friday at 4:32 PM. If I looked at my email about doing it the right way, so, it is really breaking news. So, I don't wanna go through the information, but I would invite you to contact me. My cell phone number is on there, use it, text me, I'm gonna be back in Grafton on Wednesday. If you wanna grab coffee, if you wanna learn more about my experience, and how I've seen these things come to life, I'm happy to share. I'm an open book. I'm very transparent. I ask curious questions. I'll ask hard questions. You all ask hard questions in what you do on the daily, right? But at the end of the day, you know, we're in this together, and nothing would delight me more than to see the downtown of Grafton come to life even more than it already is. But more importantly, serve a hub for the county and the region, because these types of facilities have extensions, you know, beyond the physical location. It's the Volk School, it's maybe partnering with that cute little community center that I got a tour, right outside tour yesterday on. In Hoople, you know, you all represent, you know, different communities, you know, there's always a partnership and a collaboration and a programming effort, you know, that supports everybody that's in the community. And it's important, and I can tell you why, you know, in another setting at another time, but again, my goal today was really for you to get to know me. I will be in Grafton for however long it takes, you know, to get the job done right, get the job done well, in partnership with all of you and many others along this journey. So any questions for me? And hopefully give you a little bit of time back.
Paul,
So, they've approved the, contractor at risk.
CMAR approach, contract at risk.
So what does that mean in terms of the next step then for you? Where do you go? with that?
Yeah, so, we're gonna put a notice in the Welsh County Record, we still call it the Grafton Record, I think we're past that. You know, that we're prepared with an RFQ, we've got, you know, an 11-page RFQ that totally details out to basically general contractors, you know, an invitation for them to bid on the project. And so, we'll do the public notification, Dawn and or I will be initial contact, so anybody who contacts us will send out that RFQ. And all the support documents that go alongside it, you know, we'll give them, you know, 4 weeks to prepare their proposal. After we receive them, I'm assuming we'll get at least three back. We'll select a contractor to work with the owner, which is Red River Regional Council, the architect, which is Icon, and then they're the general contractor, so that together at the table, you know, we sit and we say, okay, this is where we're at in the project, where do we need to refresh or value engineer, that's a term you're gonna hear a lot, about how to value engineer, you know, in the construction world, and then, you know, checking on the programming. So, long story short, Paul, announced the RFQs are ready, for contractors to receive and bid upon, and then we select them. And then we go.
So the EDA in the past is looking at this that you gave us. In 2022, they had approved the 1.6 million, that's still in place.
Yeah, our goal is to retain the same budget. And this term, value engineering, like I said, you'll hear it a lot, you know, because now you look at the bill, you look at the quotes, you know, when the quotes come in and how close do they get, and in the RFQ, it clearly states this is our budget, this is, you know, where we wanna be with the budget. But there may become a point in time where you have to make decisions. You know, what can you do on day one? And then what do you reserve, for day two? And then what does that look like? But it's too early to imagine what that could be without those quotes and without that information. And, for Red River Council, the architect and the contractor, to be at the table and say, okay, here's what we've got, to work through that.
One more question, who's gonna own the building?
So as I understand it, and Dawn can verify this when she returns, that the Red River Council actually owns the building. The city gave them a deal, and that is their building. It will be their home office,
Okay,
as I understand it, when the project is complete. But again, Dawn would have more of that background information. My goal here today is just really to get to know you, reintroduce myself to you. And let you know that I will work very hard in supporting the vision that the Red River Council created. And, I've seen how incubators like this can really, add new businesses, add new jobs, add some, different vibrancy in not only Grafton, but, other communities that the Welsh County and the region serves.
Brenda, could you give me an example of a successful incubator?
Yeah, so this was a fun one, and I'm glad you asked, and I should have mentioned it right at the beginning. So we started in Warroad, a concept, and it was really a concept in a brand called the Discovery and the Development Hub. And quickly recognized that working with the Small Business Development Center would be a really great partnership. There was a regional Northwest Minnesota SBDC, they call it. So I called them up, because I do things like that, called them up and just said, hey, we're opening this incubator. I want to understand your services. We want to maybe, do some referrals. And pre-hub, we'll call it, they had maybe about 40 some registered clients serving the Northwest Minnesota region. In less than a year, it went from like 43 to 65, just because we were open. And we gave entrepreneurs a reason to exercise their idea, and we would develop a network. And even, during COVID, there were 7 new businesses that started, that had been incubated in the past. They opened their doors during COVID and we only lost 1. And so, it's really a business, incubator. So that's one statistic. The other thing, and what would be unique, I think, about the Red River Regional Council is, their muscle in partnering and, seeking really creative ways to fund things. Just like, we did in the Hub Capital programs, if somebody wanted to go, from a tap room, probably bad example, tap room to their, farmyard, to, downtown Warroad, you need a string of capital associated with that, right? But that's not uncommon. I am hearing, and you guys have to verify this, that there are a lot of cottage producers in the region. They might be making jams or jellies or breads or that kind of thing, and going to the farmer's market or doing pop-up shops. And what an incubator can do, and it's designed in here, is you have a commercial kitchen, right? So what if all of a sudden they wanna, increase their production of their jams and jellies and bring it to market? Now you've got a commercial kitchen set up to do that, and you figure out, what is that, rent relationship, or how does that work? And that is all very dynamic, and it'll change, all the time. But, what if, some of those, remember the Gamble Snack Shack? Who remembers the Gamble Snack Shop? I do. But you think about, Gamble's, this was this really cool little snack shop in there. Could one of the ideas, and this is all ideas, you guys, this is not set in stone, this is how the community has to decide. What if, there's a student group, as an example, that wants to run a summer snack shop out of there. Incubate it and provide a service, whatever it might be. The kitchen is set up, we market some hours, they might have a little brand, we work with them on how to do a budget, maybe you tap into Susan Schuley, or anybody at the Volk School, And, you know, just kind of teach them that concept and they, you know, have a little snack shop in the summer. But, you know, the ideas are endless and the opportunities, you know, add to the imagination and the support that, you know, the community wants to give this, and that's what's so unique about the concept.
Amy,
So a couple of things, you know, I've been involved some with this project and you know, the idea of programming, so meaning. You have workshops at certain times of the year in the commercial kitchen that maybe you teach cultural things. I remember my mom, someone was traveling here from Norway and krumkaka, or who makes this anymore? Lefse, pierogi, like certain things that you can teach the next generations, or these things don't continue, right? If families aren't. As a small business owner, this is very difficult for people to wrap their minds around because they don't quite understand, but the amount of mistakes that I've made because I felt fairly solo. When you have an idea as a business owner, especially a small business owner, you maybe can find the capital, you can find ways to fund that. But the amount of Nicole Evans at the small business, I wasn't exposed to her. I had hired someone to do my business plan, paid him a lot of money, was not the best decision. She was free. She helped me get beyond, to be able to have a place that a potential entrepreneur can go and ask a question and they say, this is where you go. Here's your connection. There is that, to me, breeds the best chance of success because I see businesses pop up and unfortunately I go, because I don't think they have the foundation to be able to be successful. There's only so much, and I always tell people, if you have an entrepreneurial heart, you want your own business someday, don't let go of that, because not everybody, that scares people, right? But if you have that, this is something that can provide to give them that chance to succeed. Small business isn't easy, but this is the concept that I truly believe if we just give it some time and support, it will reveal itself regionally. Food trucks, you know, things that could impact Fordville, that booming little town, like all these little areas. This is giving them a chance.
so my question is, excuse me.
No, go ahead.
My question is, great idea, but how does it fund the incubator? How does it, you know, fund like the operational costs that are going to need to be there for the incubator? Is it all based on like a rent?
Yeah, so, you know, I think that's work that needs to happen. But you have to, like you run your own business, you have to put together an operational plan and you're gonna have to pay somebody to be there. And you will have rent and all depending on, you know, how many offices end up being there, how many retail spaces end up being there, who uses the kitchen. You know, it's sort of a rent model.
Rent model, okay, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, rent model, you know, short term, you know, rent model to, you know, as Amy well said, you know, just give people a start. You know, and wouldn't it be cool, like, you know, people get the foundation, and then all of a sudden they've grown to be big enough to have their own place. And they can have it wherever they want, you know, it could be, you know, in Grafton, it could be in Park River, it could be in Fordville, it could be, you know.
So probably multiple short-term rentals is kind of what I'm hearing here.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, Ernie.
It's interesting we're talking about this. I just got Jeff Kolpak's book on the Dots Pretzels.
Oh,
And it's a story of how they developed. And I'll tell you what, that's interested, the trials and tribulations, you know, they were farming and then all of a sudden he quit his job because the pretzels started getting big and then the son came in and all the connections and what they did, and then they sell it. But I said, it's just a small, and she wasn't young, she's 60-some years old, that lady. To start these pretzels in her kitchen, well, I'm older than that, but I mean, to start that in her kitchen and all of a sudden see this thing just, if you want an interesting book and
Yeah.
on entrepreneurs and stuff, that's one to read, cause
It is
I'm not
a
all the
great
way through it, but it is interesting to see the steps and how they grew. Out of a little farmhouse.
The overhead piece, like
Yeah.
that's the part of, can you control your overhead? Cause to buy a building,
Mhm.
that's a big part of overhead, and if you're just in the infancy of your business. To think about, okay, I have to pay for that, I don't even have business to get to that,
Right.
you know, this is that, kind of that chance to let's see, does it fly? Maybe, if it doesn't, okay, but we're not out, now we own a building that we don't have a way to pay for from the business idea. Which is,
They made the pretzels in the home in one weekend and they took them to some, it was a gathering or whatever, and all of a sudden. After that weekend, they had just oodles of, the word got out and everybody tried the pretzels, it just flew. They couldn't keep up, and I said, you know, it's just good stories when you hear something like that.
100%.
Yeah.
That is a great one.
Well,
All right.
Brenda,
Yeah.
do you have anything else?
I know I don't, again, I just wanted you all to know who I was gonna be, cause I'm gonna be at the coffee shops and I'm gonna be at the restaurants and I'm gonna, find my place.
Yeah.
And connect with people as much as I possibly can. And I just invite you to call me, I mean, seriously, if, I'll make a trip to town, I'm only 2 hours away, it's a day trip. Love to have coffee, talk about the project if you want, it's up to you. Provide any kind of updates as you want them, you let us know what's the best way and what's the best form. Because I'm also a believer in really good communications, and there's so many people that have contributed to make this happen, and, it's a project me and everybody else, wants to work and be proud of it.
Great. Well, thank you very much for coming in today, we
Well, I
appreciate it.
appreciate the time, thank
All
you so
right,
much.
nice meeting you.
Yeah, great to meet you. Did you get something else?
Okay, do we want to continue or break?
I could use a
Yeah,
break.
I could use a break, okay.
I should change.
Okay, I'll call the meeting back to order. And Susan, you'd like to visit with us?
Did you have someone else that needs to go first?
No, you're the last one.
Reason that I am here is I watched the podcast about Tommy. And, there's a lot of questions, and I know that there's some of you that are new that don't have all the answers. And, I'm here to provide those answers for you. My main goal is to do the best for Hummy and for the community. And so whatever input that I can give, I hope it helps. I wrote down a list of what I heard from the podcast. And so I will go through each one of them. If you want a transcript of this, I can have this, typed out so that you have, paperwork also. I'm down with one arm, so I'm really restricted to what I can do.
And just so you know, Susan, before you get started, we do have limited time because I added you to the agenda, so,
Sure, sure.
I don't know how much time you need, but,
Yeah, just let me know
okay,
when you need me to stop.
right, because I know some people have
Because I
appointments.
will get this to you.
Okay. Yeah, if we could quickly go through it, that would.
Sure. One of the things was the advertising, and this has been a big thing with me. I felt that we weren't advertised. I had people coming in a lot that said they didn't even know this was a campground. I think it needs to be established somewhere that not only is it a recreation area, but it's a campground as well. I picked up on the Facebook page, got a lot of followers, put a lot of pictures out and a lot of comments, and that helped. Hummy's been around for 70 years. One of the biggest issues with the plumbing. Every year, water has been turned off. It's turned off either the end of October or beginning of November. There's two places that we turn it off at. In the campground itself is 20 years old, so all that plumbing is just 20 years old. We shut that water off in the campground, and that provides the water to the main bathroom. Up until a couple years ago, the hot water tanks were never drained. I was never given that instruction, but the floors have heating in them. Now, when we shut everything down, this past fall, we drained the water heaters, but the heating on the floor, there was some electrical problem, so we didn't have heat on the floor. But every winter, the heating went up to 90 degrees, and that's what I was instructed when I took over.
So, excuse me, but I would assume these are issues that Jason is aware of then since
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe you could address with us what the commissioners need to know, because I think Jason is aware of a lot of these issues and will have it under control. So maybe if there's something that you feel that as commissioners that we need to know.
One of the things was, why was the water continually being on? And it wasn't. All the water was turned off other than the pipe that went from the rural city into the trailer. Up until it was 2 years ago. We weren't there during the winter time. Now Corey, the previous manager, he was there for 4 years and he lived there 12 months out of the year. And that water was on. We never had an issue with the water. However, the Flow was always low. And we knew we had breaks. When you get in, when you're going into the camp, into the park, and you get to the garage. That pipe that runs from the city. Goes across the road to the pit. Goes, it goes under the ground. It goes to the garage. It goes over to the shed. It goes back across to the road. It feeds a fish cleaning station, the dump station, and the bathroom. Now, all this plumbing is 7 years old. That pipe also leads to the back of the garage, goes over to the playground and feeds all of the picnic area, goes across the road, feeds the spigot, the 2 spigots by the bathroom, up the hill to the shower, and then down to one of the flower beds. And that is all old. Some of it doesn't work, some of it leaks. But that's where the breaks have been. Let me see if I can get through here quick.
Right, because it was my understanding that you and Jason are going to meet on some. Just to kind of meet on some of the issues, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, if you can just keep it to what we need to know as commissioners and meet with Jason since he's our building and grounds.
One of the big things is the mowing. Mowing takes 15 hours to completely do. This is the front, this is the bike path. This is the entire park. Before there is mowing, there has to be, tree trimming. You have to pick up the limbs, all of that before it can be mowed. And then you have to take in consideration the hills. You cannot put the commercial mower on the hills. I actually bought another mower to help, another rider to help us. And it has to be hand mowed, that hill. Also, you have to watch the vegetation because of the runoff. Of erosion. One of the things was the utilities for the, as in aspect, you had a lot of questions about the trailer. One of the reasons why the trailer was out there was when Corey moved and there was another lady behind him that was there 10 years and then a man behind him 25 years. And I believe all of them did have, you know, the man that was there 25 years did have a mobile home. Where he was at, I do not know. And then the lady that was there 10 years. I don't know what kind of facility she had. When Corey took over, he brought in the trailer. And between the time that I heard about his positioning, opening up and him leaving was 2.5 months. It was real quick. The reason that I opted to buy the trailer was I was a caregiver for my 92-year-old mother who was only at the time. And my husband, who was going through cancer treatment. Plus I had Wesley, and Wesley was my big helper out there. I knew that there was no way that we could live in our camper for that time, and that's why we had the trailer. My contract said that all utilities will be paid. Well, that's not the case, and I never brought it up, but I always paid the propane. But the electricity and the, water was paid for. And like I said, the water's always been shut off every year except to the trailer. One of the things was the phone. I get phone calls all the time. I get them constantly. I stay in communication with Rover Pass. And it lets me know if anyone is updating, if there's any questions. And then I have to go into Rover Pass and answer those. It's just been, last year was the best year ever that we had for Rover Pass and doing booking for camping. As far as the day passes, when I moved that up to the front where I was actually doing one-on-one as people came through, it made accountability for those passes, which there wasn't any before.
Susan, can I just stop you there? Can I ask you, how much money did you take in on day passes?
Now that, I don't have the number for day passes for, I can get them for you. For, season passes, I did twice as much as I did the year before. I had $3,340. It was brought in from season passes.
3,000. So the year before, we only brought in 1,500? Or what did you say? Or you said,
No, I don't have the number for the day pass.
no, the season passes, it's fine, it's fine.
Yeah.
So season passes, you brought in 3,000.
Season
We don't know
passes
what
the
you brought
year
in
before
there. Okay,
was down by half.
okay.
I think I gave out 46 and I had like 96 the past year. So not only was it an increase of the passes, but it also gave me the availability to talk to them. A lot of them had questions. A lot of them hadn't been there before. So it gave me one-on-one interaction, which was very good. When we put the cameras in, that also made a big impact. Because not only was there drug trafficking going on, and we have proof of this, but it stopped a lot of it. During the really busy season of July, I would have a lot of people that used to come in who would come in and pay for their camping, but they wouldn't go online. A lot of those people didn't show up last year because it was enforced. You have to go online and you have to book. Not meaning that you could not come in. You're driving down the road and you see and you stop and you find out, oh, I can camp. I did have people that came in and, I set them up with reservations. But Rover Pass has made a big impact. We were using Square up until
Last year we were in Square.
yeah, it was like, I was still doing Square maybe the beginning of July, just for a few things. But everything got transferred to Rover Pass and made a huge difference.
Okay, good. We are running out of time, so do you have any other highlights you just want to hit quickly, one or two, and we're going to move on?
Probably just me, myself.
Okay,
As you can see, I wrote my rent in 2 places.
oh my,
Didn't intend to do it. I have 3 more weeks in the cast. And then we'll see if I can even get out of the cast after the 3 weeks. With that being said, I can't, I'm useless. I cannot do anything. My intention is to get all my things moved out as quickly as I can. All my family that I have, they all have jobs. And so I have to work around them. And one of the biggest things is until I can get in there and be able to use both hands. there's not a whole lot that I can do. So. With that being said, I will try and be out of there by the end of May. If for some reason something happens, I'm looking at moving to Langdon. Had this gone, I really had hoped it would go on for at least one more year. And then I would have put my trailer up for sale. But because I'm going to have to move it. Not only is it just getting someone to move it, but there's also the permit. And you have to have, sheriff's department behind it. There's a lot of other things involved with it. So I've got a lot of things on my plate. I would just like you to bear with me. I won't be in anybody's way out there and I won't do anything, interact. But I will do my best to do what I need to do to move on.
Right, it was May 31st, correct, was the motion that we requested you to have it off by, so.
Yeah.
Amy,
Madam Chair, Susan, for your belongings and getting things off, I have had a taxpayer constituent reach out to me. And her children have not felt safe with the dogs out there. So my preference is if you need more time, obviously you come to us, but I would like them not out
The
there.
dogs are gone.
Okay.
I euthanized the two little ones a couple months ago. The Linus has me home. Yeah, that is not an issue.
okay, any other questions for Susan? Okay, well, thank you for coming in and thank you for your years of service to
Thank
the
you, and
county.
I will get all this for you. And then it'll help also. My interest is just the best for Humvee and for the community. And I also know that you're wanting to bring in some income and some of these ideas are just, I know it's all fresh, it's all new, and putting stuff together doesn't happen overnight. And you run into issues. So if there's anything that I can do or any information that I can give you to help along, I'm free to do that.
Okay, we appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you.
Susan.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's go on to additions to the agenda, the extension office test spot,
Got that answer, Joel.
so we're good there.
They're moving out of there, on the Pinky Seed Farm.
Okay,
So that little plot there will be open and Danny Cole said he'd farm it. I thought, I can barely turn around in there, but my thought was with the soils conservation looking for a test plot for their practices, that would be an ideal corner for them to go into, but obviously Joel and his board can come up with an idea.
would they pay rent on that then?
I don't know, I guess that'd be up to us. Mr. Cole is paying about $50 an acre rent right now on the 39 acres or whatever. So, the alternative to renting it out to someone who would be put in a CRP, you could double your rental rate.
You wouldn't have cropping history on it.
Yeah, true enough.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
so
he
you-
would.
Would
Cause he's
you?
cropping it on the stuff that he is cropping.
Oh, on
Yeah.
the stuff that Denny's farm, I thought you meant on
Yeah,
that
no,
little
no, not
plot.
that little corner.
No, okay, I'm sorry, I thought that's what you were talking about, Paul.
I'm just wondering why we own 40 acres and there's a reason.
I believe it was donated
Way back when.
way back when somebody donated them to the county specifically for extension use. Or whatever. There was a time when they talked about moving the hospital up onto that area, but it wouldn't go through because of the stipulations of that donation.
I know Luther always talked about getting more rent, but to me, we were happy if
Yes,
Coles would do it for them small
Yeah,
parts and
you look
everything
at those
else.
small pieces and.
Oh. I can't imagine going in there with big equipment now trying to farm in there.
And then worry about spray drift with those trees in there and that, yeah.
Amy?
And Madam Chair, I guess I feel too that if the donation was more from the extension, if it's, when it's that small of areas and we have extension or, you know, soils comfort that are trying to help with farming practices or showing things. I guess it's more in my interest that we are providing these small, even, you know, even if it's a small amount of rent, but it's giving them an area that they can improve soil practices and wind and erosion and all of that versus having nothing. to
Did the
show.
extension, I don't think they paid us rent, did they? That was the sort of agreement that, I don't think so, I think that was the agreement that they could use it
But
along with the
since-
extension
yeah,
office.
Since Brad retired,
Yeah.
actually, they were struggling to get somebody to come in and help out with that, not control everything else, so.
Well, it'll be a good fit with them with Hankies, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's what they decided, they moved out there, Crop Improvement Association made that decision.
Okay.
Okay, anything else?
Will this, I'm sure, be on our next meeting? Okay.
Go home and study. Okay, if there's nothing else, meeting adjourned.